What up, Dokkanners? We have more content dropping tonight. Actually, today, not really tonight, for me anyway, because we've got Super Vegito and Super Buu's EZA dropping on global at the upcoming reset. So in this video, we're going to be going through the preview, the team building, talking about hidden potential builds to get you guys otherwise ready for the upcoming content. This is I think probably the last bit of content that's going to be for part one. So if you guys have been cranking through all the content that we've had so far, and after this you're wondering what's next, you're gonna have to wait a little bit, but hopefully you guys have been having a lot of fun with the various events, the Spirit Bomb event, the speed battle. Some of them are probably a little bit more annoying than others, but still there's been a lot of content for us to work on so far. So now let's take a look at these two units. We're going to start by quickly reviewing the EZAs. I talked about this on my video going over the EZAs that are coming up, so I've already talked about what their builds should be, but I'm just going to quickly rehash it. For this guy, he is a counter unit. That is his main goal here. So Majin Buu Saga 170%, causes immense damage, raises allies attack and defense by 30% for one turn, 80% damage reduction against normal attacks and counters with tremendous power, defense plus 150, attack plus 20 up to 120 with each attack received, medium chance to crit, key plus 1 up to 3, defense plus 30 up to 90, and crit plus 10 up to 30% every time the character receives an attack 3 times in battle. So again, you have to get hit a total of 9 times for this to go up to the full amount of the passive. Every 3 hits, you gain 1 key. Every 3 hits, you gain defense plus 30. Every 3 hits, you gain critical plus 10. How do you build this character's hidden potential? Well, back in my previous video where I talked about this, I suggested that max critical is the way to go, to simply just lean in on what the unit does best, countering. The goal here is to counter and counter as hard as possible. The more critical counters you can extract out of one turn from a unit getting hit by a bunch of attacks, the more useful that turn will have been, because you basically get that extra cheap shot damage on the end of your turn when you're not even attacking. So I think that is probably the best way to build a unit. You could go for balanced dodge, but I feel like throwing in dodge undercuts the very point of the character. This is not going to be a character that you would often want to put in a slot 1 situation. You would only put this in one of those situations where maybe you've got another scouting effect on the team where you know for sure attacks won't be happening, or maybe a super attack is going to be happening in slot 1, so the chances of the enemy attacking again in slot 2 are pretty low. So you kind of have to be careful when you run this character. There is inherent danger and risk with running him, but when you do, I think the best thing to do is just lean in on what it does best. So in my opinion, max critical is the build. Let me know in the comments what you think the best build is. As you can see on mine, I've given him max critical and balance additional. I could probably end up switching and putting a little bit on dodge. A level 6 dodge might not be too crazy, just because the chances of you dodging every attack with 6% is pretty low, right? So throwing some dodge in there might be okay. Now, that being said, now let's take a look at the event itself. We will come back and take a look at the team building options in a second. The standard event progression holds for this EZA. Transformation boost is the category weakness for this STR Super Vegito. 30 stages, 30 Dragon Stones. Over time, he does gain some pretty insane damage reduction against tech and int and super units. So you don't want to bring good guys, you want to bring bad guys, and you want to bring non-int and non-tech units if you want to do the extra damage. But you can still bring those if you are trying to run a team, like, if you're trying to fill out the roster, you don't have enough transformation boost characters, you can bring tech and int, just know they won't do as much damage. That's all. So that being said, let's actually go through the team building side. Transformation boost is the category. Actually, before we do that, the missions, we're going to be earning over 60 Dragon Stones during this whole thing, because 2 events, which means 34 Dragon Stones, 30 because stage 1 through 30, and then 4 more because you got to clear in under 55 seconds, you got to clear in under 1:20 at level 20, and you have to clear this with level 20 or higher with 1 transformation boost character on the team. So that's 34 Dragon Stones for this event alone. So now let's take a look at transformation boost and let's see what we can work with here. So what I would recommend, if you guys are trying to prepare your teams before the actual event drops, go to any EZA. It could be any EZA, but that way when you do, you know that you have the same name update no longer applying here, because outside of the Extreme Z battle, you can use the same name update. You can run multiple units of the same name. During the Extreme Z battle, you can't do that. So that's why it's best to simulate the situation by being in here. So let's set up transformation boost as the category, and let's go through some teams that we can run. As you can see on the left here, we've got some various leaders. We don't have Kale yet on global, so Kale doesn't work. We don't have Frost, but we do have several free-to-play leads as well as some non-free-to-play. We have Transforming Buu, obviously. We've got Cooler, and we've got the Peppy Gals lead, Brienne. So Out of the three, obviously the best one is going to be probably the Cooler, because the Cooler not only is an EZA himself, but also he provides support to Transformation Boost, so he will be very, very useful. But if you don't have him, you can run these two characters. Ribrianne works. If you have a bunch of, Transformation Boost units, but you don't have a good leader skill, throw Ribrianne on there. She doesn't have to fight necessarily, but she'll still be a good lead. So let's go through several teams that we can run for this. I have got a few in mind. Obviously, the ones that come to mind first would be Cooler. So let's isolate this down to STR. If Cooler's the lead, you could run a full Big Bad Bosses team if you can. A lot of great STR units that are Big Bad Bosses, even if you have some Dragon Ball Heroes in here. STR Hearts would be great. Hearts works. If you don't have Hearts, you could bring in Kuliza. Kuliza boosts Wicked Bloodline. If you don't have that, there are many other options in here. Cell, Celis, Android 21. The options are aplenty. You even have units like Final Form Frieza. This guy is just desperately needs an EZA. He's just so random and so weird, but he is good. If he gets hit in slot 1, he can actually do some good damage. So if you run him alongside all of these other characters, you are good. And as you can see, there is no same name restrictions here, because if I brought this Frieza, or since I have this full power Frieza, I can't bring the TOR version of the same character. So this team works. Obviously, any form of Transformation Boost with Cooler as the lead works. Golden Frieza is a great tank. So if you don't have a full STR team and you want to actually branch out to outside of just STR, you can bring units like Golden Frieza. If you bring the AGL one, you obviously can't bring the tech one. So if we take him out, we throw the tech one in. The tech one won't do as much damage as we learned because of the damage reduction, but he is still a fantastic option for tanking. You can also bring units like the Golden Cooler. Golden Cooler provides an extreme class support. So if you're trying to give more support to the, what few transformation boost characters you have, then Cooler will be great. There are other great options here. You can also bring some good guys. They won't do as much damage, but they are still going to be nice stall tactics, right? The ultimate goal is to do, just 1 or 2 heavy hits with some of your main characters. Everybody else can pretty much just hang out and just do whatever. So a lot of different options here. Janemba's a great support. Cooler's a great support. Obviously, STR Cooler himself is fantastic. What are some other good support units that we could throw on here? Kid Buu is good. Kid Buu is great. I think, is there a transformation boost support unit? I actually don't know if there is one. So these are some nice supports to choose from. Oh, Garlic Jr. is there. So yeah, you got Boobity. A lot of great supports actually. So Cooler leading the way really solves a lot of your problems. Cooler can do all the work himself. If you want to try something different, you could go Transformation Boost and Majin Power, and you can focus more on a regen heavy team. So that way, if you think that the damage coming in is too high, you need more defense, more recovery, a full Buu team will do just that. You could run Super Buu as your lead. If you already ran the Super Buu EZA first, then you would obviously have the better leader skill. If you didn't do that, you could run Buu tanks as your leader, or even Kid Buu as your leader. Depending on who's your leader, you could then run the various, different Buus out there that you can. So let's just say, for example, you run Kid Buu as your lead. So he leads Battle of Fate and Majin Buu Saga. So instead of Majin Power, let's go ahead and filter Majin Buu Saga with Transformation Boost. So all of these characters can run on that team. So if you don't have the LR Buu, let's bring in Bukalo. Let's bring South Kai Absorbed Buu. Let's bring Buu Tanks. Let's bring Fat Buu. And who else is left over? Transforming Buu. There you go. There's your team. Not everybody's going to do a lot of damage, but you've got support. You've got regen. You've got crazy synergy. And if your links are high, you're going to be even better off. So Buu works. That is actually going to be probably something more of you use if you don't have that Cooler. And then the last one that I would recommend out of the, the solid Transformation Boost leads would be someone more like Cell. Cell also leads a good set of units in the Transformation Boost category. Android Cell Saga Power Absorption. So you're going to have to do a little bit of cross-pollination here to find which units actually fit. So let's do Transformation Boost and let's do Android Cell Saga. So we've got a couple units here. Gohan's a great stall. He won't do as much damage, but he will stall for you. You could throw on Cell. He also wouldn't do as much damage, but Perfect Cell is here. You could bring Perfect Cell. You could bring Semi-Perfect Cell. You could bring Perfect Cell and Cell Jr. And I mean, right there, you're pretty much done, right? You can throw on anybody else at this point. You want to throw on Cell. When he transforms, he's got that 30% heal. If you fall below 30%, he will give you that full heal. He will transform into Super Perfect, and then he will also have crazy stats. Gohan has sort of been at the center of a lot of videos recently because of how good he is. But don't forget, Cell is actually pretty decent too. So you have a good team right here. If you want to take out the Gohan, you want to just add more evil onto the team, then let's forget Android Cell Saga. Let's go for Power Absorption. You then have units like Android 13, who provides the big bad bosses link and provides a nice support to androids. If you want more from that, you could even throw on Android 21. So let's take out these two cells. Let's throw on Android 21. And then again, you could bring the Buus back on this team. So a lot of good combinations between these three. Cooler, Buu, and Cell are going to be your best options for the Transformation Boost leader skill. But it doesn't even end there. If we go Transformation Boost and Time Travelers, a little bit of a deep cut. If you guys have units like the Hearts or even the Bojack, they too can work as nice leads. And also, the Bojack kind of functions like the Cooler, where he provides nice support before he transforms. So if you want to go full Time Travelers, you could bring in Bojack, Hearts, Sealess. Hearts and Sealess together is one of the best combinations out there. They are really, really strong together. And who else can we throw on here? Garlic Jr., he is a Time Traveler, and he provides crazy good support, 40% if you have the unit. You could throw him on there. You could throw Semi-Perfect. I mean, the options continue. You could even throw on some good guys. So great combinations for the extreme set for Transformation Boost. If you are missing one of those leads, you will still have plenty of others, assuming you've been around for a little while. If you're a brand new player, as always, it's going to be difficult. But if you haven't, if you've been playing for a little while, then you'll be fine. So that is pretty much it for the Vegito preparation. Now let's take a look at the Super Buu. Super Buu is the other unit that is going to be receiving the EZA during this upcoming EZA dump. So let's take a look at what this guy does. Real quickly, Transformation Boost 170%. Greatly raises attack for 1 turn, causes immense damage. Greatly lowers attack and defense. Key +1, attack and defense +120. Plus an additional defense boost by up to 120%. And more HP remaining, the greater defense boost. This works perfectly with Buu regen. If you got a bunch of regen units on your team, you will more often than not find yourself with more health. So this will directly impact how much defense you get. Plus an additional attack and defense +60 when attacking, plus an additional defense +60 within the same turn after receiving an attack. Transforms when conditions are met. So then after turn 5, depending on how you're doing in the battle, if you're struggling, you'll transform into Buccolo. If you're dominating, you'll turn into Buuhan. And if you're in the middle, you will turn into Buu tanks. So depending on which, you will transform into these guys, and then they each have their own unique abilities. Buccolo is all about raising defense. He provides support and damage reduction, and he gives extra health regen on each turn. Buu tanks is in the middle. He kind of just does a little bit of everything. He can seal, he can nerf, and he gets extra stats when the enemy is afflicted with various status effects, and he gets extra defense and extra combo additionals for the first few turns. And he also has regen. Everyone has regen. And then Buuhan is the best of the bunch. Multiplicative super, insane stats, greater regen. He's got the great chance to guard for 6 turns, then it drops down to high chance to guard. But after 7 turns, post 5-turn transformation, you're probably not going to be in too many events where this even applies, right? 12 turns into a fight, more often than not, you're probably done with the event anyway. So for the most part, you can pretty much just assume that while you have Buuhan, you will be guarding for the most part. 70% chance, but still, it's better than 50%. So obviously, you want to be transforming into the Buuhan, but there can be some strategic advantages with having the Buccolo because of that crazy support. So there is some merit to each form. I think out of the 3, the least effective one would probably be this guy. So if anything, try to avoid turning into Buu tanks. But all that being said, how do you build the character? Well, let's talk about that. Let me pull up my phone here and let's go to the Buccolo hidden potential build. Where is my, or not Buccolo, but Transformation Buu. Let's go to hidden potential. I recommend full additional. I think full additional is the best way to go because it applies for every possible transformation that there is. When you transform into Buccolo, you want to be raising defense as much as possible, supplementing defense with damage reduction, effective combination. When you go into Buuhan, you have a multiplicative super attack for 3 turns, meaning you want to be launching as many super attacks as you can within those 3 turns. With the propensity for additionals already in the passive, and even more so in your hidden potential, you could be easily launching up to 3 super attacks in 1 turn, giving you crazy stupid stats along with guard, which will basically make you untouchable and an unstoppable force. Basically an unstoppable force and an immovable object. So I think that all things considered, max additional is the way to go. You could throw some critical in there, which I have, because on the account of big bad bosses, when you transform into Buuhan, you can give this guy some nice support with other big bad boss characters, giving you even more attack power. So I just think the potential for damage and invulnerability is pretty high with the Buuhan. Therefore, max additional, balance critical. Let me know your builds in the comments down below. I know there's going to be some merit to throwing in dodge. I know some people like that. All the 3 dodge worshippers out there. I'm just not one of them. I can't get on board. So now let's take a look at the event itself. Standard event progression for yet another TUR EZA. For this one, 30 stages up, 30 stages down, 30 dragon stones total. Potara is the category weakness. The thing about Potara, though, is that the leaders are kind of limited, and you have the damage reduction of 80% against physical units and extremes. So you can't bring bad guys to beat the bad guy. You got to bring good guys. That's pretty obvious. So down here at the bottom of the missions, same exact thing, 4 extra stones. So 34 dragon stones obtainable for this event as well, totaling to 68 dragon stones. Almost 70 dragon stones are going to be available between these two EZAs, which is pretty awesome, if you ask me. So now let's take a look at the Potara category. The Potara category is a little bit more limited. We don't have a 200% lead. We don't even have that many 170% leads as of yet. I am recording this video before part 2 even starts. So, or actually before part 3, I should say. So the Vegito here doesn't have his full EZA boost. We do have the Int Vegito from year 3. This EZA happened last year. So we do have the 180% Potara lead. This is going to be your best bet in terms of damage. So if you want to bring that one, you can. You can also bring the Kefla. Kefla does provide a 160% boost to the Potara category. Obviously, physical won't do as much damage, but still, she has orb changing. She has defense boosting. She's not bad. She is going to be a good option for you to bring. So if you don't have either of the Vegito LRs, you are more than okay with the comfortable leader skill that she provides. You also have the LR Zamasu. I mean, well, not everybody. Some people might. But if you have the LR Zamasu, he provides a 150% lead. So that also works. It's just a matter of getting the right matchups. If you have 150%, you can do plenty of things with 150%. You don't need to have 200 or 180% to get the job done. So these leaders will be just fine. I guess the only other concern will be if you have enough different Vegitos, because remember, same name update is very important here. So let's go through and cover some team builds here. Let me pull up my game again. We're back in the Extreme Z window. Let's go to the Potara category. Right here. Okay. So if we want to run Int Potara Vegito as the lead, right? Int 1. Well, you got to remember that you can't bring every single Vegito of the same name. You got to be a little bit clever here. So if we bring the Tech LR Vegito, that instantly eliminates the AGL World Tournament Vegito. If you have the AGL one, perhaps you want that type advantage. Perhaps you want that super class support. So let's just bring him instead. That eliminates the 5-year LR. You could throw on the AGL Super Vegito if you have it. Great unit for countering. He counters with he reduces damage received by 80% on normal attacks, so he's going to be great. Even if he gets hit with a super attack, he will be more than okay. Then if we scroll further down, you could bring LR Vegito Blue. You could bring the STR base Goku Vegeta who transform into Vegito, and that pretty much covers every possible Vegito that you would want to bring. You could also even bring the physical Super Saiyan 4 Vegito if you really wanted to. He kind of works on his own because there's no Giant 8 power on the team. There's no crossover allies on the team, so he'd kind of just be his own thing. But again, wouldn't be as effective offensively. That's if you want to go full Vegito. If you want to add a little bit of synergy, you could bring units like the Gowasu and Zamasu because they provide support, all allies, defense plus 70%, Ki plus 2. Defense works great with units that counter. So if you were worried about, surviving all the attacks, you could bring them. They wouldn't do much damage offensively, but they will provide nice synergy. You could also bring Supreme Kai of Time if you guys have dabbled in the heroes banners of past. If you don't have heroes units, then ignore this, but she is a fantastic support. Also, a lot of people have been using her for the speed battle trick. If you guys didn't see my speed battle video, go check it out. This unit is actually great for providing all types of support. You could also even bring the West Supreme Kai. Some of the characters that you might bring, the Vegitos anyway, some of them would have Realm of Gods. Like, for example, let's just say we didn't want to bring the base AGL Vegito and we wanted to bring the Tech one. Then the Tech Vegito and the STR Vegito Blue both have Realm of Gods, so you could provide a nice level of support with Supreme Kai being on that rotation. You could also even bring free-to-play Vegito. He's he will kind of round out the team if you so desire. So this pretty much covers all the Vegitos, and that's essentially Potara. So if you don't have any Vegitos, it will be a little bit of a tighter squeeze because your only other options are really Kefla and then the bad guys. So if we want to do that, let's actually do that. Let's now assemble a full minus Vegito team. So let's bring Kefla. Who are some other Vegitos? We got Vegex. If you want to, if you have that, if you summoned on heroes, let's assume you didn't. We would have to bring Supreme Kai and Kabito. We could bring the Tech Supreme Kai. These two would work. West Kai. And this is actually really tough without any Vegitos. Can you do this actually? I mean, yeah, you would throw on more Kefla. Yeah, another Kefla there. Actually, you could bring the... Okay, so this is kind of cheating. I'm not going to count that. But just FYI, if you have extra Kefla units, just know that the SSR and the TURs are different. The TUR is Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. the base form is Super Saiyan Kefla. So the two can work on the EZA. So you could bring Kefla. If we don't have that and we don't have heroes characters, you might just have to take the plunge and use an extreme class unit. A great one would be the LR Rose Zamasu. Guards early. You've got nice defense boosting. This could be a nice slot 1, right? You won't do as much damage, but this is a nice slot 1 if you have that unit. And if you really are desperate, let's throw an Int Goku Black. There you go. So that is another team that you can throw on together. I think overall, though, most people should have a bunch of different Vegitos, so you can take advantage of the, you know, the similarly named characters, high synergy, high links, and also with most of them being LRs, you'll also get that extra legendary power boost. Don't forget, the legendary power link is usable for like LR EZAs, but also it provides a nice boost, attack plus 15 when performing a super attack. It is a lot more effective than people may give it credit for. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I think of all the events, this one's going to be toughest if you don't have many Pataras, because if you have to resort to running bad guys, you might take a little bit longer to complete the event. But still, this should be fun. This should be pretty straightforward. So I will be going live on the channel later on today to do these two EZAs coming up, the Vegito and the Super Buu, and then I look forward to some runs with these characters moving forward. And that is it for the part 1 EZAs. Let's get it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Put in the comments if you guys are ready for the upcoming EZAs. Do you have your teams? What hidden potential builds are you giving the Vegito and the Super Buu? Let me know your overall thoughts on these two units in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know when I see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.